Alright, so this is another kind of how-to to the Bloodborne DLC, the Old Hunters. This is for the Living Failures, this boss. This is the second one found in the research hall. Now, I'm calling this one a tips video, mostly just because I beat him on my first try. I didn't learn a whole lot. What I did do in this video is just a lot of kind of testing, and then I just thought I might be able to win, so I tried to bring it home, and I guess I just did. So what I did in the first part of the fight was see if I could visceral them, and then I learned that I can just stun them by just stabbing them over and over. So if you're like me and you have a weapon that can do that, I mean, it makes life a lot easier, man. It really does. So if you could visceral them, I mean, go for it. It does a ton of damage if you have the skill high enough to make the damage worthwhile. If not, I mean, I just didn't want to learn the timing. You can just do this. So this attack here, when he raises this up, it's kind of like a soul arrow. It's a little bit slow, but the tracking is only strong in the beginning, it seems. It seems to wane itself out as it goes. These guys, you need to be careful. They do continuously spawn, and as the fight progresses and lower their health gets, the more of them that start to kind of show up. At first, it's kind of like here's like 1 or 2, and then it's like, you know, 4 of them show up, and then maybe 5. But overall, it's not that bad. I mean, they don't have an individual health bar. They have that attack you can be careful of, by the way. That one does a lot of damage. You can hear all these things coming. I'd recommend listening for audio cues, that way you know when to run. If you hear something coming behind you, just leave. There's no point in trying to stay and get that last hit in, just go. I mean, is it worth getting potentially one-shotted? But these guys don't have individual health bars, they have a shared health bar, which makes it kind of, I guess, inconvenient for killing any particular one if you're trying to like beat one down and you lose track of them, but they don't have a whole lot of health, so never be kind of strung up on killing one of them, because you'll end up killing them all pretty quick. One thing I would recommend is, if you have an opportunity to kind of hit more than one at once, take it. I mean, you're getting 2 hits on the boss's health bar in one go. It's kind of a freebie. But overall, I'd recommend trying to keep your distance, and this middle sunflower, it's very, very, very useful, because it not only does it block all the magic, and not only is their pathfinding a little bit hard for them to kind of just get around it, but it makes it very useful for an attack you'll see later on, which I didn't get hit by, but I can only assume it'll come and kill me with 1 hit. It's bad. You'll see it coming. But anyway, that overhead slam, probably really easy to get a visceral off on that attack. Same with that one where they like swipe their hands around. It's also useful if you get hit by it, you can just roll out of it. Just make sure you roll towards them, you'll get away. So, as you can see, like what happens is you usually have like 1 or 2 guys chasing you, and then 2 of them just sitting back and like shooting magic at you over and over. This attack is the one to be careful about. So they raise their hands, and everything becomes like you're standing in the cosmos. This starts to fall from the sky. It's like gigantic meteors. So hide behind the sunflower. It will save your life. Trust me, those things, I'm pretty sure the explosion can pass through it. So don't stand right up against it. I mean, you're just asking to die then. But what I would recommend is standing a little bit ways away from it. If one of them is not really paying attention, maybe get some free hits on them. But don't mess around with that attack. I mean, they don't use it often, so you can only assume it's going to be their worst one. What ended up happening here? It's a little bit, been a couple days since I've seen this, but it's basically just the same thing, an opportunity to hit 2 of them, just take it. They end up doing this casting again. Now, I was told by my brother that apparently if you kill the one that started, at least if I remember this correctly, if you kill the one that started the casting for the meteor, you can end it early. I don't know, they all seem to raise their hands at the same time, so I never had any clue who was doing it, but it didn't really matter because this gigantic thing is in the middle and you can just hide behind it. I don't know if you can just outrun them. I don't know how big the blast radius is, but I can assume it's pretty bad. So don't mess around with that attack. I mean, especially considering they use it in the last half of the fight. But, I mean, here we are, we're at the end of the fight. There's really nothing much they can do. They're all kind of clumped up over here, and they're trying to chase me, but it's not really going to work because there's this gigantic sunflower tree in the middle that I can just hide behind, and just keep spamming jump attacks because it's going to work. And there we go. That's a pretty easy win. And just a heads up, the next room is, like directly, it's just a boss fight. So be ready for that.